Hey guys, what's up? Back in the garage. I know it's been a while and I released a video not that long ago on the channel about my custom operating system version 5, which I released. So be sure to check out that video if you haven't. And I'm in the garage. No, not working on the Firebird, working on the truck. It's been sitting for probably over a year. I have lots of parts that I have ready to install. Control arms, new shocks, like tons of stuff. Looking to make some big changes. Not sure if I'm gonna go into the engine. You know, I have that camshaft that's been sitting on the shelf for like 4 years or something now. I have a converter, billet converter that I have. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll go into all that, but I already have the truck tore apart, so let's see where I'm at. I have the whole front end tore off, painted the frame because it was starting to get a little bit of rust there, so I cleaned it up. Have all the brakes tore off. There's the old brakes. Have the springs, those will be going back on. We're gonna jump into, I'm not sure exactly what next, probably just cleaning up some more parts. I have to clean up some of the coilover parts that I'm gonna be reusing. Start unboxing everything, getting things laid out, and then yeah, we'll figure out what we're gonna do. Well, here's the parts haul. So we'll start over here, my control arms. So I haven't ever talked about it before. Here's my old parts. This bushing you can see specifically was melting. That control arm bushing was very close to my exhaust manifold. Even though it's wrapped in fiberglass wrap, still didn't hold up. Big upgrade going with the Heim joint. So all metal, you know, there's no melting of components, and also this technically will be tighter, so it will be further away from the manifold. And then I thought like, oh, I'll just get the set at the same time, get the upper and lower. Really nice pieces. Upgrading from the UMI lowers, which I never really had a problem with. Probably didn't take great care of them. But the uppers are, I believe, a Summit brand, which is, I think they're manufactured by Ride Tech, and then they're just rebranded as Summit. Those just melted, that one bushing, because it was so close. Not really their fault. I actually bought a new set of bushings, so I'm probably going to sell these. I'll clean them up and sell those. Same thing with the UMIs. There's really nothing wrong with them. Maybe you could get new ball joints. Not sure how much that would be. But yeah, just a little bit of surface rust, nothing crazy. Those will hopefully clean up really good. And then the shocks. So kind of the reason why I'm upgrading the shocks is one of these I was noticing when I was looking at taking the control arms off, one of them was leaking. So thought about rebuilding the one. I think it was, you know, it was going to be 150 bucks. So I just decided, all right, I'm at the limit of the rebound. I had to crank the rebound all the way up to be able to slow the front end of the truck down. Hopefully that will be a little bit better with those shocks. And then as far as the brakes, I really never had great luck with these brakes. They stopped the truck just fine. I just wanted to upgrade to aftermarket because this technology is really old. And then the spindles, because of the way the TRZ control arms actually, I guess, integrate the 2-inch drop, I didn't need this 2-inch drop spindle. So this is a Beltec 2-inch drop S10 spindle. So I don't need those. Those will get cleaned up and sold. To replace it, I have some replacement stock S10 spindles. They're actually from a Chevy S10 Extreme. So you really can't find these anywhere else other than the Extreme. They're super rare. So I'm gonna have to modify those for these guys. So I have the TBM F1 2-piston calipers with the hubs. So this should really, all of this stuff should drop a significant amount of weight. So the only thing I didn't upgrade was the spindle. I thought about going with the billet TRZ spindle, stock replacement, but just trying to limit how much I'm spending all at once. So if you can see, I'm not even done yet. Going with the TRZ control arms, I can upgrade to the full coilover rather than using the bushing. The old ones has the bushing. These ones have integrated mount directly for a coilover, so I'll just have to keep on top of maintenance. So cleaning these up probably every season, making sure that all the heim joints are in good condition. And then really the last thing is the brakes. So more brakes. I'm gonna go with the Motion Raceworks or TBM manual brake conversion. So this is a Strange master cylinder, and then it comes with the TBM adapter. So I'm probably gonna wind up modifying this. I wanna try and keep everything as much as possible as stock on the inside of the truck. So modifying this with the brake pedal, I know I'm gonna have to get, the ratio correct, but I think I might wind up cutting this off here and going with the stock S10 mount because of the way that the stock S10 has a brake sensor on the pedal. So I'm hoping I can reuse that. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to plumb into the brake system to get a brake signal switch so that the stock ECU doesn't freak out when it doesn't see the brake position pressed. And also that's how my launch control and everything works. So I want to keep the factory function of, the brake pedal switch. So yeah, that's all of the parts that I got. I've been buying all these parts off. I really wanted all of these parts. The only thing I didn't really want to reuse was the stock spindles, but those are the Extreme spindles. So now we just have to put all this on the truck. I guess the other thing, since I'm upgrading the manual brakes, I will be deleting the Hydro Boost setup. It's given me a lot of help as far as launching and holding the truck back, but man, bleeding and the pump on this thing, it's just a nightmare. So gonna wind up deleting that. And yeah, hopefully also I'm gonna investigate using the Type 2 pump. So this is the pump that actually came on the Firebird. I didn't realize it came with a Type 2 power steering pump. Well, I'm not going to be using power steering on the Firebird, so we'll probably tear into the truck a little bit more. But now that I have the garage cleaned up a little bit and have all these parts looking at it, it's going to make me a little bit motivated to get all this on there. So. Okay, so I got both of these spindles all cleaned up, degreased, blown off, washed down, so I can work with a clean thing. Now we got to make some modifications for the TBM brakes to fit. It says I need to drill out these two mounting holes right here. I don't have the exact drill bit, but it says 300 and some thou, which I have a 21/64 drill bit, which is a little bit smaller, so hopefully it'll drill a little bit oversized. And then I need to tap with a 3/8 24 tap, which I have to check to make sure that I actually have, but I got the first one drilled and tapped. That went actually really easily. Anyway, I did use the 21/64 drill bit, and I had the 3/8 24 tap, both Harbor Freight deals, on the cheap tap set, super old drill bit set, and yeah, it worked out pretty well. So now got this one done, I'll have to do that one, and then it says to kind of use the caliper bracket that mounts into those holes to cut this off. Oh, and the other thing is I have to chamfer, put a countersink on here. I'm gonna have to see if I have a countersink. I'll have to look at that as well. I have a couple countersinks. I don't know if I have a 90-degree countersink, which is what it calls out for, so I'll have to check. But I can at least drill and tap the other spindle and then clearance it. And then I might have to come back and do that countersink. All right, well, I just got done cutting and grinding and clearancing both spindles. I also found this little 90-degree chamfer that I had laying around, so that worked out perfect. So the spindles are ready to go. I'm going to hit them with a coat of paint, and then I'm pretty sure everything's painted, everything's cleaned up. I can start assembling. We'll get those painted up, and yeah, we'll come back. All right, I don't remember where I left off, but I did a bunch of cleaning yesterday. Got all my old parts ready to put up on Facebook Marketplace for sale. And then I also wrapped up, I don't know if I showed the final finish on the, factory extreme spindles. So now I have all the parts ready to go, basically ready to install onto the truck. So I think I'm gonna jump into, putting this stuff together. I gotta put anti-seize on the new coilovers and probably a bunch of bolts so that I prevent any kind of rusting and seizing in the future. So yeah, time to put this stuff together. Okay, well, I have both sides up to this point, and yeah, looks good. Everything fits. A little bit of pain to get to the nuts on the upper control arm, but yeah, everything fits. Everything looks good. Got some new bolts for the lower control arm. Got the original springs. That's pretty much the only thing that has been left from this whole front end. I also replaced the outer tie rod ends. Looks good. Now it's time to build the brakes. So the only thing left to do on the brakes is pack the bearings, slap the bearings in here, put the seal in, and then slide them on the spindle and verify the positioning. So I still have these bolts that I need to put red Loctite on if I don't have to do anything with swapping the rotor, because it has this offset on it. So you can flip this if necessary to get the alignment with the caliper working. But there's also bolts on the caliper that can have washers stacked between that and the bracket that goes on the spindle. So yeah, let's get these things greased up with some moly grease and yeah, slap them on the truck. as you can see, I have the TBM F1 brakes mounted. Everything worked out really nice. I actually wound up having to use the same exact set of shims on this side as the other side, so that shows, you know, the spindle and the calipers and all that, they're pretty much identical, so that's really sweet. Everything spins nice and free. I am not done. I do have to come back and red Loctite these bolts, just in case the offset was needed adjusted. I could have flipped the rotor, but didn't have to do that, so we'll just have to pull these bolts out, put red Loctite on them. I've already Loctited the caliper bracket into the spindle, and the studs into the hub, that's red Loctited. So yeah, now I need to mount my adapters for the brake lines, because these are AN fittings on both sides, so I'm gonna have to get some AN brake lines. This is pretty much done. So ultimately, whenever, you know, I wrap up the master cylinder, we'll bleed the whole system, but for now, this end is pretty much wrapped up. Throw some grease in all of these Zerk fittings on all the new suspension components. Probably get into the master cylinder upgrade in the next video. I think I'll cut it off here. That was a ton of work. Probably took 3 weeks, spare time. So yeah, we have brakes. Not finished brakes, but they're at least mounted. And full new suspension on the front end of the truck, which is, I'm excited about that. Yeah, should have dropped a significant amount of weight. I probably should have weighed some of the stuff that I took off, but oh well. It's definitely probably close to like 100 pounds off the nose of this thing, which is fantastic. Can't hurt to take more weight off. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.